for a period of not more than 3 minutes on any item of interest not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of this board. The council will listen to all communication, but in compliance with Brown Act, will not take any action items on anything not on the agenda. Our first discussion action item is Federal Transit Administration Section 5310 Grant Program for Elderly and Disabled Transportation Services.
Hello, council members. Michelle Marino, IVAC staff. In January, Caltrans made us aware of a Section 5310 grant program for 2008-2009. It contains capital assistance, grant money designated for nonprofit agencies for capital improvements or transportation to provide service for elderly and persons with disabilities. On June 20th, a local review committee met to review and score the applications. It was formed to critique and evaluate the applications as part of the initial submittal process, and the LRC presents its recommendations regarding the ranking, which is part of your backup. As you can see for the project rating sheet, these are the projects which have been presented to the LRC and which were ranked, and it shows 4 different sections and their respective scores. This year, one application with 4 parts was received from ARC Imperial Valley. This application is requesting 8 vehicles, which include 2 replacement vehicles for ARC Imperial Valley Paratransit Services, 2 replacement vehicles for the El Centro Dollar Ride, 2 service expansion vehicles for AIM Transit, and 2 service expansion vehicles for the West Shores Dollar Ride. In addition, Caltrans requires that IVAG will entertain any appeals process or any public comment should be required regarding the ranking of these applications. Also attached, please find a resolution stating that public comment hearing was held on this day, July 28th, at the Regional Council meeting, as well as the certificate and assurances. The total amount which was applied for by ARC in Imperial Valley was $510,000, with a match amount of $58,000 and a 5310 amount of $452,000. It is recommended that the Regional Council adopt following listing of scores by agencies, with the highest score receiving the highest priority in descending order. Adopt the following certification as required by Caltrans. Adopt the following resolution as required by Caltrans, and authorize staff to forward the documentation to Caltrans for entry into the statewide competitive process. These applications are due to Caltrans on August 29th.
Mr. Chair, move for the 4 requested actions.
Okay, we have first and second. Maybe if I can have just anybody wishing from the public to address any issues, any questions, comments, anyone from the public? No? First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. No further business. Yes?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Edney, in his absence, was not able to be here to speak to the issue of the regional governance and maybe the formation or the change in the regional governments. I don't know if anybody on the staff side had any information regarding that, or if the management committee was making any recommendations to this body regarding that.
We did, Bob Pam, IVAG staff, we did discuss this at management at some length, and we had city county managers had really been talking about this from time to time over the years. We're making a little bit of headway, in fact some pretty good progress, and we've changed city managers in a lot of cities, and at the General Assembly over a year ago, the regional council decided to set it up where there would be an ad hoc committee with some community and some electeds, one from a large city, one from a medium city, one from a small city. And we had set some meetings, and that, well, it seemed on the surface like it might be an effective way and a good idea to go. We really probably lost some of the momentum that we had gained because we had some community members there, but we had a real hard time getting, other than Mr. Puentes here, who I think attended all of them, the other electeds just simply didn't show up. What we did get at, and we had some really good help from SCAG, from their representative when they had a kind of a member relations office for SCAG. But then after the new regime came in and they discovered some budgetary problems, unfortunately that person, who was very, very helpful, is among the casualties because she was one of the last on staff, so she was one of the first to get laid off, and she's no longer with them. So anyhow, the discussion that the regional council had was, or the management committee was sort of that maybe this is something that really needs to be hashed out at management. We did get some fairly valuable information during the ad hoc process, and we passed that on. And probably the most significant thing that we found out is that really we ought to be either a county transportation commission, or we should be a local transportation planning agency, which would be a combined council of governments, and all of the things that IVAG could do that are non-transportation or transit. And these are some of the things that we've been discussing that should become under an independent IVAG. And so if we became an RTPA, we could be both a transportation planning agency and some of the other things like regional sewer, if it came up to regional dog catchers, whatever, some of those park districts, some of those things that could all be combined and done better in this region by a regional government and not have a lot of duplication. So essentially the managers, and Ruben can help me a little bit, but I think the decision was sort of, and Ralph is here, was sort of that the managers may come up with a recommendation that we just go next session for some legislation, because we found out that's what it really takes, is we just need to be one of those that are like all of the other regional planning agencies that come under SCAG. We're the only ones that are different. They have either transportation commissions like OCTC in Orange County and RCTC in Riverside. Ventura has one. And then they have the COGS, the Sandbag, and CVAG, and all of those. All of those have been legislated and have their authority, and we are kind of the oddballs. So for things as simple as the Brawley bypass, when we went for that grant, each one of those other agencies nominated directly to the CTC. And as you remember, we had to back count our planning because we had a second step. We had to we did it, and then we had to send it up to SCAG so that they could sign it. And we had to make all kinds of arrangements in advance. So just going to the legislature and getting this done, we could immediately sort of be on a par with the other agencies in the other 5 counties in the SCAG region. So I think that's probably going to come forward in a future meeting of IVAG management as a recommendation to the full regional council. We have some time, obviously, because the legislature doesn't begin until January, or actually December, for purposes of swearing in and introducing a few bills. So we could get some absolute direction from regional council sometime in September or October to go to Senator Ducheney, for instance, and ask her to do legislation and take care of it. And that would start us on the course towards finishing this regional governance, so that, I think there would be a new focus as a legislative regional transportation planning agency, if that's the way we go. Then it's still up to the city managers to determine if they want to go ahead. There's a financial commitment, not by the county. The county is already picking up the bill for the management that they pay me, they pay Ralph.